and then 9 consolation games, the final 3 days of the tournament here in Monteria. Of course, Group A happening alongside us in Barranquilla, and that's where the Super Round and then impending World Championship Final will happen on Sunday. Australia find themselves in a 1-0 deficit after going down 1-2-3 in the top of the first. They will send Zach Shepard, Sam Kennelly, and Jack Barry to the plate against Jose Rodriguez, who showed some muscle in that top half of the first inning. He can bring it. And he does so in the first offering here to Zach Shepard. The first is in for a called strike. You saw him confuse the heck out of Jess Williams an inning ago, threw him 5 consecutive fastballs. Williams had a hard time catching up. Here's a ground ball toward third. Juan Yepes is there. He throws across, and the first 4 have been retired to begin the ball game. I mentioned that at bat from Jess Williams in the first inning. It's where we really saw the muscle of Jose Rodriguez, the 23-year-old right-hander who's getting the start for Venezuela. It was 5 consecutive fastballs. So here is Jesus Lujano, the only true left-handed swinger in the lineup for Carlos Moya. Takes low and inside for a ball. Yanni Hernandez did hit from the left side against the right-hander, but he's a switch hitter. There's the 1-0, low and away. 2 balls, no strikes. A ballpark with a capacity of 11,000. It is the headquarters of Leones de Monteria, the team in the Colombian Professional Baseball League. Built in 1955 and inaugurated 62 years ago in 1956. Got a look at Estadio de Béisbol Edgar Renteria in Barranquilla days ago. It's a nice ballpark, just as that one is. The 3-0 misses low, and it's a 4-pitch walk with 1 out to Jesus Lejano. And the 9-hole hitting Josker Alvarez will stand in with a man aboard, 1 out. Oddly enough, this ballpark was originally named Estadio de Béisbol 13 de Junio. It was named on June 13th, which was originally the date that the president of Colombia at the time, Rojas Pinilla, was inaugurated. However, a year later, they changed it to June 18th to commemorate the creation of the Department of Cordoba, which is the region in which Monteria sits. So originally named June. Michael Gahn has lost a bit of his command. We'll go out and have a conversation with his starting pitcher. That's 6 consecutive pitches off the plate. It's certainly been a laborsome couple of innings for the Australian starting pitcher. Here's the 2-0. That one's in there for a called strike, says Bin Shun Chen, the home plate umpire representing Chinese Taipei. 4 umpire crews for every game here at the U-23 Baseball World Cup. It'll be a 6 umpire crew for the medal game in the World Championship final. Did they catch him off base? They did. Boy, Lejano was caught in 2 minds as to whether or not or go. It was a running count, 2 balls and a strike. And Michael Gahn, persistence pays off, picks him off of first base. And boy, does that change the potential complexion of this inning. Lejano picked off after the walk. And now the 2-0 misses low and away, 3 balls and a strike. That is a huge pickoff potentially for Australia. Hard hit ball to third, but well, 1-0 Venezuela as we welcome you back to Estadio de Béisbol 18 de Junio in beautiful Monteria, Colombia, as we go to the top of the 3rd inning. Check on the score in the first game of the day in Barranquilla at Estadio de Béisbol Edgar Renteria. It's a 2-0 lead for Mexico as they play in the first inning of that ball game. Mexico leading at Chinese Taipei in the 10 a.m. ball game in Group A. Australia will send the 8, 9, and 1 spots to the plate here in the 3rd inning, trailing 1-0. This one's hit right back up the middle and a base hit for Alex Hall. One of the youngest players on this roster, the left-handed swinging catcher. The Milwaukee Brewers prospect gets himself a leadoff single. That's big for Australia, trying to pull that run back that they allowed in the last of the first inning. Now Ulrich Bojarski, the right fielder, will stand in, the 9-hole hitter. With a runner on base, nobody out. Swinging first pitch, ground ball in the hole at short. Tough play for Rodriguez. They get one at second, but they don't get the relay at first. Borowski gets down the line pretty well, and Ulrich beats it out, staying out of the double play. But a good play by Jormer Rodriguez going to his right at shortstop. Dug in the heels, popped up a strong throw to Hernandez at second, but the relay was just not in time. So 6-4 on the putout. Borowski aboard at first base, and here's a bunt. Whitefield might beat this out. He runs well, and he does. Aaron Whitefield, sneaky, has a look over at Juan Yepez at third base, saw how deep he was playing, lays down a bunt. And after a disappointing start to the game for Whitefield when he popped out to the catcher behind home plate, a sneaky bunt single. And Australia's in business here in the top of the third inning. Nothing about that was a sacrifice attempt, I can promise you that, having seen Aaron Whitefield play plenty of times. He knew what he was doing. Bunting for a base hit, and he gets the chocolates. Here's Jess Williams now. He takes a ball just off the plate outside for a ball. Well, Jose Rodriguez has struck out 3. This is the most pressure he's been under in this ball game. He did allow a 2-out base hit to Jack Barry back in the second inning, but quickly erased that after striking out Jordan McCardle to end the inning. 1-0, missing low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Jess Williams was one of those 3 strikeout victims back in the first inning. See if Williams has a bit more luck against the hard-throwing right-hander here in the third. It's the 2-0, and it's hard hit. Deep into right field. Lorgiano looks like he has room. He makes the catch. Both runners will tag up. Whitefield just getting into the nick of time at second base. It's the second out of the inning. A long, loud second out from Jess Williams. The 2 runners advance. It'll be second and third, and 2 outs for Robbie Glendening. Brief meeting on the mound here for Venezuela with 2 outs. A good scoring opportunity for Australia. Really their first of the ball game. They had the side retired in the first. As a matter of fact, Jose Rodriguez retired the first 5 that he faced in this one before Jack Barry got that infield single up the middle with 2 outs last inning. Now Robbie Glendening a chance to tie or take the lead for Australia with 2 outs here in the third. Off speed pitch on the first from Rodriguez is in for a called strike. Glendening, a 23-year-old Pittsburgh Pirates prospect, has only started in the Pirates system, was a 4-year player at the University of Missouri prior to being drafted last year. And here it's a hard hit ball on the ground toward third. Good pickup by Yepez, and the throw across is in time. And the inning comes to a close. What a play by Juan Yepez to his right on a short hop and makes the strong throw. And Australia strand another 2. They've left 3 all up the Australians. We go to the last of the third inning. Venezuela clinging to a 1-0 lead. first game out of Group B, which will encompass the first 5 days of action. Yanni Hernandez leading things off, trying to take a page out of the Aaron Whitefield book and bunt his way aboard here in the third inning. Hernandez singled, stole a base, and scored back in the first. He was driven in by Leandro Cedeno, the three-holder. That's the only difference in the ball game to this point as we play in the last of the third. It's the 0-1 to Hernandez, missing low and away for a ball. It was a good recovery inning in the second by Michael Gahn after throwing quite a few pitches in the first and stranding a pair of men aboard. This one fouled back and out of play off toward the left, 1-2. Michael Gahn, an interesting story for Australia, and perhaps a name that not many Australian baseball fans would have heard of. He went to junior college after finishing up as an 18-year-old in Australia before going to Montana State University. In 2017, as a junior, he had a very, very good year. Only 5 appearances, 5 1/3 innings, but he was pretty tough. 6 strikeouts in those innings, an ERA under 2. He was thrust into a starting role this past year at Montana State. Held his own, but did struggle a bit late in that season. Here's a fly ball deep into left field. It's Barry again in left field, going over to make the catch. And Yanni Hernandez is retired, one away here in the third. And it's a path that Glenn Williams, the new high-performance manager for Baseball Australia, has really started to stress, and that's getting kids to college. Over the last 10, 15 years or so, there's been a stretch of young Australian players that have gone over to the United States after being signed at 17 or 18 years of age and have fizzled out really before they're 21, 22 years old. Connor McDonald, who led this tournament in home runs 2 years ago, is a prime example of that. Very good power hitter, may have had the opportunity to go somewhere in the minor leagues, but the problem was he just started too soon. As an 18-year-old kid, was thrust into rookie ball as opposed to going to college where things are a little bit easy. It's a bit easier to acclimate to life in the United States when you go to college. And Robbie Glendenning, who we saw hit last inning, certainly a beneficiary of that, but that's really been the path for these Australian players and one of the reasons why they have ascended in the world rankings. It's the next to the right-handed swinging Rodriguez. We're going to check to see whether he went around. He did not. That'll even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I mean, many of these D1 programs in the United States and college now are essentially more well-equipped than a lot of minor league teams. There's a hard hit ball right at Jess Williams at second base. And the Western Australian native makes the catch, 2 away. So when you have that opportunity to go to college, you get tutors, you're able to get an education, and you're able to play baseball. It's a formula that has really worked for Australians. Really starting to see it, especially with pitchers in Major League Baseball as well. Position players also. They spend 3 seasons at a Division I baseball program. They're well equipped to make it to the major leagues in less than a season. Case in point, Andrew Benintendi, who made that spectacular play for the Red Sox a couple of nights ago to win the game in Boston. He was a Golden Spikes winner at the University of Arkansas and was playing for the Red Sox less than 12 months later. Here's a called strike in the outside part of the plate. Leandro Cedeno is the lone RBI in this ball game. It drove in Yanni Hernandez back in the first. The 2-1 shot foul off toward third. That'll even the count 2-2. So while, yes, it's a trend within baseball in Australia, it seems to be a trend that is happening across baseball in general in North America, and that's leaning toward college talent. The 2-2 from Gahn. He goes with the off-speed pitch that misses away. And the count full with Anthony Concepcion awaiting on deck. payoff from Gahn, hard hit into left center field, and that's going to get over the head of Whitefield. It'll go for extra bases. Cedeno pulling up at second base with a 2-out double. Hard hit ball over the head of the center fielder. He's 2 for 2, and Venezuela in business, a scoring opportunity with 2 outs here in the third. When Whitefield possesses some speed, we saw that with his bunt single last half inning, but he was playing relatively shallow for Cedeno. And the ball just got over his head, bouncing to the wall in left center. And now Venezuela with a scoring opportunity as Anthony Concepcion, the 4-hole hitter, stands in. He had one of the 3 base hits as well back in the first inning and was stranded at first base. RBI opportunity perhaps for the right-hander with 2 outs. The first from Gahn. Good pitch in the outside part of the plate. Concepcion pleading with the home plate umpire. Didn't look like he was too thrilled with the strike call. The 0-1. Gahn with a long look at second base. The off-speed pitch. Misses off the plate outside. Count even. Concepcion's having quite the conversation with Ben-Shun Chen behind home plate. He's turned around and said something to the home plate umpire after each of the first 2 deliveries of his plate appearance. The 1-1, he checked his swing. And the count 2 balls and a strike. You can almost certainly hear that whistle that's being blown. That's coming from the Venezuelan cheering section here at Estadio de Béisbol de 18 de Junio. It has been steady, and I can tell you what, it's even louder in person. It's 2-1 instead. Gahn chasing Cedeno back to the bag at second base. It's a bit of flair of baseball in South America, and we're getting to see that early this morning with this Venezuelan cheering section. Long look again from Gahn, the 2-1, missing low and away, well blocked by Alex Hall behind home plate. It's a 3-ball, 1-strike count. Carlos Machado awaiting on deck for Venezuela. No action as of yet in the Australian bullpen, but the pitch count really starting to elevate for Michael Gahn. Concepcion let loose on a 3-1 pitch, fouls it off the home plate umpire, and the count's full. Gonna labor some 6-hitters, which he went deep into counts in the first inning, did Michael Gahn. Did retire the side in, or face the minimum, I should say, in the second inning, pitching around a 1-out walk of Jesus Lejano. Looking to retire Concepcion and send us to the 4th. The payoff pitch to the right-hander. It's spoiled off foul off toward the right side. Concepcion, a former Atlanta Braves prospect, 23 years of age. It's a Venezuelan team that's littered with current and former minor league prospects. Anthony Concepcion, certainly one of those, looking to battle his way back into minor league baseball at 23 years of age. Here's another payoff, misses low. Good patient plate appearance from Concepcion. He draws the walk, and there's runners at first and second, 2 out. So for the second time in this ball game, Michael Gahn will have to pitch around a couple of men aboard with 2 outs. He had to do so in the first and was able to get Carlos Machado, who stands at the plate, to pop out for the second out of that first inning. Machado swinging first pitch, a ground ball to Jess Williams, underhands over to Glenn Denning, and the inning is over. And Gahn escapes once again. Venezuela, they put 2 aboard. They've left 4 through 3 innings. We're a third of the way through this one. Venezuela leading Australia 1-0. Well, Jose Rodriguez coming back out for his fourth inning of work. He's been very, very efficient. 38 pitches through 3 innings, and 26 of those for strikes. He's pitched from ahead in the count. It's been part of the reason why he's had so much success. He did have to pitch around a bit of a jam back in the 3rd inning, in which Australia put a couple of men aboard with 1 out, but were not able to capitalize. So Rodriguez will come back out for a 3rd inning of work. He'll face the middle of the Australian order, 4, 5, and 6. With the Detroit Tigers prospect Zach Shepard leading things off, playing for this tournament in the 2nd time. He was a member of the silver medal winning Australian team back in 2016 in Monterey. Hit .355 in that tournament. The year in which Australia narrowly became a world champion. They faced Japan in that gold medal game in Monterey, or in Monterrey, Mexico, I should say. Even had a lead early in that contest. As Shepard fouls this one back behind home plate. That'll leave in the count, a ball and a strike. Shepard's an interesting case. He began playing in the Australian Baseball League at the age of 16, 7 years ago. He then signed at 18 years of age. Has spent 5 seasons in the minor leagues. It seems like he's been around forever as an Australian baseballer. He's just 23 years of age. This ball is roped toward left. It is hooking and lands just foul, about a meter or so on the foul side of the line down in the left field corner. And Shepard will come back to play the ball in 2 strikes. Fan favorite of Sydney Blue Sox fans in the Australian Baseball League. Struggled a bit in 2018 to find his footing. The Detroit Tigers. He's battled some injury in his young career as well, Zach Shepard. 0 for 1 this morning. He takes high on the 1-2 in the count, even 2 balls, 2 strikes. It'll be Shepard, Sam Kennelly, and Jack Barry, the 3 due-ups. The 2-2 missing just off the plate inside. That'll run the count full 3-2 with Sam Kennelly, who struck out an inning ago, waiting on deck. Hard hit ball toward the left side again for Shepard. We'll do it again at 3-2. First time getting a look at Jose Rodriguez, the right-hander for Venezuela, and he doesn't mess around. He possesses a lively fastball, goes to the breaking stuff when he needs to. But in all honesty, throughout most of this one, hasn't had to. The fastball, at least the first time through the lineup, was overpowering. Australia will try to get to him perhaps the 2nd or 3rd time through the lineup. Here's another payoff. Shepard lays off. That's a good at bat. Leading off the inning from the Australian right-hander. The leadoff man's aboard here in the 4th. Well, that's been the trap that Jose Rodriguez has lured a lot of these Australian hitters into. It's a heavy dose of fastballs, and then just when you think he's going to throw it again, he breaks off a breaking pitch. Did it to Jess Williams, did it to Sam Kennelly last inning, but Zach Shepard was a bit wiser the 2nd time through the lineup. He draws the walk. And now Sam Kennelly, who struck out back in the 2nd inning, will stand in with a man aboard, nobody out. First to the Western Australian, it's taken low for a ball. Mentioned that Shepard had battled some injuries the last couple of seasons. Sam Kennelly very much the same. Youngest of a baseball-playing family, Sam Kennelly, as he fouls this one away off toward the right. Brother Matt and Tim both spent time playing for Australia and the Perth Heat of the Australian Baseball League. In fact, his brother Matt was a manager a couple of years ago of that team, a player manager. And the 2 older brothers would tell you that they think Sam is probably the most talented of the bunch. It's the next to Kennelly, and it's hit into right center field. Wavering over to get it is Josker Alvarez. He makes the catch. And Shepard retreats back to first, 1 away here in the 4th. Reminder, our second broadcast of the day will come your way at 3 o'clock local time. That's 3 o'clock Central Time in the United States as well. And we'll get our first look at South Korea. They will take on the Czech Republic. Alex Cohen will be along with me for that broadcast. And then Alex will have the nightcap on his own. That'll be a good one. Puerto Rico taking on the Dominican Republic at 8 o'clock local time here in Monteria. The first to Jack Bari, an off-speed pitch that he checked his swing, but it didn't matter. It's a called strike. Bari singled and was stranded back in the second inning. It was a two-out base hit. It broke a string of 5 consecutive that Jose Rodriguez had set down to begin the ball game. Bari tied up again here, unable to pull the trigger, and he finds himself in the hole 0-2. 3 o'clock local time start, Czech Republic, South Korea. And the nightcap tonight, 8 o'clock. Boy, strap in for that one. The Dominican Republic taking on Puerto Rico. Here's the next to Bari. That off-speed pitch missing low and inside. 2 balls and a strike now. 22-year-old left fielder for Australia. The Aussies do have 3 base hits. Just one fewer than Venezuela, but have not been able to capitalize. They've stranded a total of 3 aboard. Venezuela have left 4 through 3 innings. Long look from Rodriguez, and Bari hits one up the middle. This could be 2. Rodriguez takes it himself to second base. The turn is a good one, and the threat is erased. Good work again by Jose Rodriguez. Pitches around the leadoff walk, faces the minimum in the 4th. Midway through 4, still Venezuela leading Australia 1-0. Hard hit liner toward left field in his first at bat. That was back in the 2nd inning. Here he takes a called strike to begin the at bat. The 0-1 is spoiled foul off toward the right side. Canelli giving chase, but he runs out of room. And the count will be 0-2 on the right-handed swinging Juan Yepes. This is a hard hit ball. Dying quickly in shallow right center, but coming over to get it was Ulrich Bojarski. It was a long run for the right fielder. It looked like Whitefield didn't pick up on it. He was playing the right-hander, a shade toward left field anyways. It's a good running play by Bojarski, the right fielder. He makes the grab, and Yepes retired for the 2nd time, and Joel Diaz will hit with nobody aboard. Diaz hits one hard up the middle. That'll be a base hit. He's hit the ball hard twice this morning now. The first was a line out to left field, and here's swinging first pitch with one out in the 4th. It's the 5th base hit of the morning for Venezuela. mentioned a couple of innings ago, it's a Venezuelan team that has quite a few bright young prospects. We'll see the same from the other two teams from the Americas a little bit later on tonight in Puerto Rico and the Dominican. This ball is turned on, and that'll get well foul off toward the right side. Jesus Lejano hitting for the second time. He walked and was picked off of first base back in the second. It's a Venezuelan team that they certainly have a chance to get to the Super Round and beyond. They flex their muscles by winning the Pan American Championship. And they've looked good in the early goings here against Australia. The next two, Lejano. This one's popped up toward left. Bari comes in, now drifts back a couple of steps to make the catch. And there's two away here in the fourth. As impressive as Jose Rodriguez has been, the starting pitcher for Venezuela, you've got to tip your cap to young Michael Gahn. He really got himself in some trouble facing six hitters in the first, allowed a run to come home to score, and then stranded another couple. But he's really settled down, the young right-hander. Has a chance to get through four if he can retire the 9-hole hitting Josker Alvarez. First two Alvarez, a called strike and a fastball. This Australian team, as Tony Harris told us yesterday, will have to mix and match a little bit with pitching. He thinks his offense is good enough to be a Super Round team. He knows his defense is. Runner is going. This one's swung on and tapped off the mask of the umpire. It's the second time this morning that Ben Chun Chen has had to deal with a ricochet off of a Venezuelan right-hand bat. The Chinese Taipei home plate umpire shaking it off both times. Looks to be all right. And Joel Diaz, who is off of that pitch, will have to retreat to first base. Well, Gahn's still looking for his first strikeout. Would this be a spot for it? 0-2, a runner at first with two outs. A long look at first. The pitch from the righty swung on and missed on an off-speed pitch. The first K for Michael Gahn, and it's a big one. Gets the strikeout, ends the inning. We're through four. Good one in our opening ball game. It's 1-0 Venezuela. Well, as you can see on your screen, it is a dead-set, beautiful day for baseball, and the Venezuelan team certainly agrees with me, at least for now, as they lead it 1-0 as we head to the fifth inning. Andrew Reynolds, glad to have your company here at Estadio de Béisbol de 18 de Junio in Monteria, Colombia, the first of 8 days that we will broadcast here from Monteria. Next Sunday, we will crown a new world champion in Barranquilla. There is plenty of work to do before then. Jose Rodriguez, speaking of plenty of work, he has done just that this afternoon. He's been very, very good atop the mound, despite having to pitch out of a few jams. Just 52 pitches to get through 4 innings, 34 of those for strikes. And he will face the latter third of the Australian batting orders. We head to the fifth inning. No runs, 3 hits for the Australians, 1 run, 5 hits. to this point for Venezuela. Australia, the 8th-ranked team in the world. Venezuela, number 11. This tournament very, very important for both of these countries in terms of seeding for the Premier 12 potentially next year. So here's a called strike to Jordan McCardle leading things off. He struck out looking back in the 2nd inning. And that Premier 12 tournament next year will be the first qualifying opportunity for the 2020 Olympics. There's a ball missing off the plate outside. That'll even the count, a ball and a strike. It's a country in Australia that has won a silver medal in the Olympics. Talked about their silver medal last year in this tournament. They won a silver medal in Athens in 2004. Here's the 1-2 to McCardle, and misses well off the plate outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll certainly go through the qualifying process for the Olympics as this tournament progresses. It is an interesting one, and most teams in the top 12, in fact, every team in the top 12 that makes the Premier 12 will have at least 2 opportunities to qualify for the Olympics, as this one's hit back up the middle toward right center, and that's down for a base hit. Good piece of 2-strike hitting from Jordan McCardle, just chokes up. Sends one out into right center. His first base hit, the 4th of the morning for Australia. And they have the leadoff man aboard for the 3rd consecutive inning. We'll see if they can capitalize here in the 5th. Alex Hall, the left-handed swinging catcher who's 1 for 1 this morning. He will stand in. One of the younger players on this Australian side, as this one's fouled off toward the right side and ricocheting off of Anthony Concepcion down there at first. It's good young talent out in Western Australia. Alex Hall, who's at the plate, one of those, and his teammate Jess Williams, who's the starting second baseman for this Australian team, both out of Western Australia, and both just 19 years of age. Bright futures for both of these young men. Alex Hall was swinging first pitch back in the 2nd inning to get his first base hit of this U-23 World Cup. Here's the next to him, missing off the plate outside. It's an Australian team that scored runs in bunches the last time they played in this tournament. In fact, Jacob Eunice, many think, was robbed of not being the MVP in that tournament. It was a tough call, of course. Eunice hit .455 for Australia 2 years ago and got them to the World Championship for falling to Japan. Connor McDonald, who we mentioned a little bit earlier in the broadcast, also led the tournament in home runs. It was an Australian team that possessed some firepower 2 years ago, but this is a good steady offense that they put together for 2018. Jose Rodriguez has silenced them to this point. The right-hander takes a long look at first. The 1-2 paints the outer edge, but just off the outside part of the plate. Hall knows that he might have just gotten away with one there, the left-hander. He was in 2 minds as to whether or not to stay in the box or turn and head back toward the first base dugout. Another long look at first, and the 2-2. He just gets a piece. Fought it off the hands. And we'll stay 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, each of these 2 teams will have an opportunity to qualify for the Olympic Games out of the Premier 12. Of course, Japan, the host nation for the 2020 Olympics, will be in no matter what. So there's only 5 spots. There's only 5 spots to fill in that 6-team tournament. So it's certainly not going to be an easy task. The top finishing team from the Americas and the top finishing team from Asia, including Australia, will punch their ticket from the Premier 12. And the remaining 3 spots will be filled at tournaments later on in 2019. This ball missing high and away, 3 balls and 2 strikes. It'll be an America's qualifier following that. Australia, should they not qualify at the Premier 12, will have to qualify via an Oceania qualifier, which you'd have to think would include New Zealand, potentially Guam, and some other oceanic countries. If Australia can get through that Oceania qualifier, they would be a part of the intercontinental qualifier that would see 6 teams battle for the final spot in the Olympic Games. It's a swing and a miss. A good 2-strike delivery on 3-2 from Rodriguez. He gets the strikeout. And there's one away here in the 5th. So while it's a tough road for both of these teams to get to the Olympics, should Venezuela hold a top 12 spot, currently 11th in the world, and Australia certainly looks as though they will keep a top 12 spot, being ranked 8th in the world coming into this tournament. Both of these two nations will have a pair of opportunities to qualify for 2020. Boyarsky swinging first pitch, fouls one off toward the right side, 0-1. Ulrich bounced into a force-out that was very narrowly missed out on being a double play back in the 3rd inning. Does get down the line well for a 9-hole hitting right-hander. Gets out of the box well. Takes this off-speed pitch inside. The pace that Jose Rodriguez has gone atop the mound, he can pitch a couple of more innings. There's no pitch limitations in this U-23 World Cup. Off-speed pitch on 1-1 in there for a called strike. Unlike some of the tournaments at the lower age groups or even the World Baseball Classic in which pitch counts have been collectively bargained, there's no pitch restrictions in this U-23 World Cup, and Jose Rodriguez looks like he can pitch for a while. Here's another swing and a miss, back-to-back Ks after the leadoff single from Jordan McCardle. That's strikeout number 5, 2 away here in the 5th. So it's up to Aaron Whitefield now, the right-handed swinging center fielder. He's 1 for 2 at that infield bunt single toward third base back in the 3rd inning in which Australia threatened. They put 2 on with 1 out in that 3rd inning. So Whitefield takes a called strike here. He's also popped out behind home plate. That was to begin the ball game back in the top of the 1st. The 0-1 snap throw over toward first base. Joel Diaz trying to catch Jordan McCardle sleeping. The young 20-year-old diving back in safely. A la Yadier Molina there by Joel Diaz. We'll see Yadier Molina a little bit later on today as the manager of Puerto Rico. In fact, all of the baseball brothers Molina are part of that coaching staff. 0-2 taken high for a ball, 1-2. Now on Aaron Whitefield. Rodriguez looking to strike out the side. Instead, Whitefield flies this one deep to left center. 2 outfielders converging out, and it's Alvarez who makes the catch. And the inning comes to a close. Australia can't do anything with the leadoff single. They strand another. They left 4 total midway through the 5th. Venezuela still leading 1-0. The switch hitter, hitting from the left side for the 3rd time today. Takes the first off the plate inside for a ball. He singled and stole a base, scored the game's only run back in the first, and has also flied out to left. He's 1 for 2 this morning. He takes the 1-0 in for a called strike. That'll even the count. 20 years of age, a prospect in the Texas Rangers organization. Reached AAA in 2018. Had a good all-around season. Did Yanni Hernandez. Here he attempts a bunt and fouls it back behind home plate. That'll run the count, a ball and 2 strikes. 261, the average, split between single A and double A into the year in Frisco. In the Texas League as part of the Rangers organization. Appears to be a good-looking prospect for the Rangers, this 20-year-old switch hitter. Possesses speed. We saw that early. And that stolen base that turned into a run on the RBI single from Leandro Cedeno. If he gets on base, he is certainly a threat to swipe a bag. Yanni Hernandez. Here's the 2-2. Spoiled foul off toward the right side. We'll do it again. This Venezuelan team, despite housing some imposing figures, not the home run numbers that you would think from the prospects in the minor leagues this past 2018 season. It's the 2-2. Bouncing in front of home plate. Hernandez helping the home plate umpire out just to let him know he didn't go around. And the count now will run full with Jorma Rodriguez, the right-handed swinging shortstop, awaiting on deck for Venezuela. And the payoff from Gone is swung on, hit hard but foul down the right field line. And Carlos Machado, Leandro Cedeno, the middle of this order, the guys that you would think would be the big boppers and home run hitters, are more line drive extra base types. Machado had 11 base hits with Tri-City in the New York Penn League this past year, but only 3 home runs. Same can be said for Leandro Cedeno, the 20-year-old in the St. Louis Cardinals organization. It's the 3-2, missing low and away. That's a good plate appearance from Yanni Hernandez. Draws the leadoff walk. That's dangerous, flirting with fire, putting the speedster aboard to begin the inning. And we'll see how much attention Michael Gahn pays to Yanni Hernandez. I'm tipping that it will be quite a bit with the young man over at first base. We'll see if Jorma Rodriguez has a notion to lay a bunt down or if Hernandez will try and swipe a bag. He is squaring to bunt. He gets it down. The throw is going to go to second base, and they get him in time. The relay is not there, but a good play off the mound by Michael Gahn. He backed himself and just narrowly throws out Yanni Hernandez and thwarts any chance of a sacrifice bunt. That's a big play from the Australian pitcher. 1 gone. So it'll go as a force out. That could really change the complexion of this inning. You get Yanni Hernandez aboard at second base with 1 out. You'd think he almost certainly scores the majority of the time. Instead, it's Rodriguez aboard at first, and now the first to Leandro Cedeno missing for a ball. Cedeno 2 for 2, singled in a run. That was Yanni Hernandez who came home to score in the first. He also doubled and was stranded back in the 3rd inning. Venezuela have left a total of 4 on base, as has Australia. Here's a ground ball back to the pitcher. The throw to second is not going to be in time. Or is it? They say double play, and Australia get out of the inning. It was awfully close at second base. Rodriguez didn't think he was out. The call was made by Hansel Brown, the second base umpire, and Australia, magic, pulled out of the hat again. We go to the 6th inning. It's been a good ball game to start the day. It's 1-0 Venezuela. Well, it's been a good one to start this U-23 Baseball World Cup here in Monteria, Colombia. 1-0 Venezuela leading Australia. The Aussies will send the 2, 3, and 4 spots in the order to the plate against Jose Rodriguez, who's thrown 71 pitches through 5 innings. He's been very efficient, 46 strikes. And he's facing the middle of this Australian order for the 3rd time. Jess Williams leading things off. He takes a hack at an off-speed pitch. Williams, one of 5 strikeout victims of Jose Rodriguez this afternoon. He is also flied out to right field. There's 0-1 off the plate outside. It was a hard hit ball back in the 3rd inning. It was Australia's best scoring opportunity so far in this game, and Williams gave it a ride. He gives this one a ride as well. Deep into right field. Does it have the distance? Yes! The 19-year-old Jess Williams goes deep, the first home run here in Monteria, and we're all knotted up a run apiece, 1-1 here in the 6th. Boy, the Rookie of the Year last year in the Australian Baseball League at just 18 years of age, and he goes deep to tie the ball game at a run apiece. What a big swing of the bat from Jess Williams. He hit the ball hard into right field back in the 3rd. And here he gets just a little bit more of it. Lojano ran out of room in right field, and it's all knotted up at a run apiece. On one swing of the bat for Australia. Here's the next to Robbie Glendening, the 1-0 missing off the plate. There'll be a few viewers that are awake with us on the west coast of Australia. And they will be happy with what they have just seen by the young Western Australian Jess Williams. Glendening takes a called strike on the 2-0. Now 2 balls and a strike. Glendening 0 for 2. He just gets a piece here, tapping it foul off toward third base, and that'll even the count 2-2. Well, he hit 3 home runs in his rookie season for the Perth Heat to Jess Williams, and talking about winning that Rookie of the Year award. Drove in 34 runs in a 40-game season. You want to talk about having a year as an 18-year-old. He's continuing that after his first full season in affiliated baseball with the Milwaukee Brewers. After being fooled in his first at-bat and then just missing a pitch in his second at-bat. He hits a solo shot to tie the ball game here in the 6th. 2-2 to Glendening, again fouled off toward the left side. And as this ball game has gone on, these Australian hitters have slowly figured out Jose Rodriguez. He looked overpowering the first few innings. Mixing his pitches well, knowing when to throw the fastball or when to bring the off speed. He struck out 5 through 5+. But the hard hit ball off the bat of Jess Williams, and now a feisty Robbie Glendening. In for the battle. Here's another 2-2. There's the off-speed pitch. It's the 3-2 rather. It misses off the plate inside. And Glendening draws the walk. The first 2 have reached here in the 6th inning. Australia are in business. And with that, we might get a pitching change. Carlos Moya is out of the dugout for the first time. He's having a conversation with Ben Shin Chen. And the Venezuelan manager might go to his bullpen. There's a left-hander warming. Meeting atop the mound. It's the first time that we've seen a coach exit the dugout. That's how well both of these 2 pitchers have gone today. Saw some action in the Australian pen just before we came back from break. It could be the end of the ball game for Michael Gahn. And depending on what Carlos Moya elects to do with a man on, nobody out, and a tie ball game here in the 6th, it looks like he's going to leave him in. So Moya says, this is your mess, Jose Rodriguez. We'll let you get out of it. But again, there is a left-hander up and warming quite vigorously down the left field line in that Venezuelan bullpen. So Australia threatened to take the lead after they've tied it here in the top half of the 6th inning. Here's Zach Shepard now. He lays off a pitch just off the outer part of the plate. Grounded out to third in the 2nd inning. Also walked and was erased on a double play to end the inning in the 4th. It's a really good plate appearance that saw him draw that leadoff walk back in the 4th inning. Here he just taps this one foul behind home plate. That'll even the count a ball and a strike. Australia have now put the leadoff man aboard on 4 consecutive occasions dating back to the 3rd inning. And this time around in the 6th, Jess Williams said, "I'll just do it all myself, fellas." A solo shot to right, and it's tied the ball game. The 1-1 to Shepard is a fastball that's in for a called strike. Tournament baseball can yield the most unlikely of heroes. Not to call Jess Williams an unlikely hero, but to hit that ball as hard as he did after how imposing Rodriguez has been throughout this contest. It's something else, this game of baseball, I'll tell you what. As Australian hitters going deeper and deeper into counts as this game goes on. Another deep count here. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Shepard, and he pops it up. Slicing in foul ground. Over to get it is Logano. Boy, he ran a long way to make that catch in right field. And Shepard is retired, 1 away here in the 6th. Well, you thought no way was Jesus Logano going to get to that baseball. Had to run a long way from his post in right field. He was even playing, shading toward right center with the right-handed hitter at the plate. And he runs very, very well, this Venezuelan right fielder. He makes the catch. And now Sam Kennelly will hit the right-hander. He's 0 for 2. He is struck out and flied out to center. Another slap throw to second base. Second time that we've seen Joel Diaz do that, throwing behind the runner at first. And Glendening just getting back in the nick of time. Good tag laid down by Anthony Concepcion over there. Kennelly looking for his first base hit of the tournament. 0-1 off speed is in there for a called strike. Quickly behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Rodriguez looking for strikeout number 6. The 0-2 hammered back up the middle. That'll get down for a base hit. Glendening slams on the brakes with a wide turn at second base, and it's runners at first and second, 1 out for Australia. It's 2 hard hit balls now that we've seen in the inning, and Carlos Moya has seen enough. He's going for the right-hander in his bullpen. After 2 of the hardest hit balls that we've seen all afternoon against Jose Rodriguez have come here in the 6th inning. The solo shot to lead off the inning from Jess Williams. And now a 1-out single from Sam Kennelly. Australia threatening to take the lead as Venezuela go to the bullpen with 1 out in the 6th. Well, you can close the book on Jose Rodriguez. He was very good this morning, 5 1/3, 1 run on the solo shot from Jess Williams, 6 hits. He struck out 5-2, and he's still on the hook here. As Venezuela will go to the bullpen and get Cruz Noriega, the right-hander, and the Kansas City Royals prospect. Comes in a tough spot, this right-hander. And will face Jack Barry. First two Barry missing well off the plate outside for a ball. Noriega 6'1", 175 pounds. That's 185 centimeters, just shy of 80 kilos. Just coming off of his first year of professional ball in the Dominican Summer League for the Royals. He pitched relatively well in the 14 appearances that he had, mixing between starting and coming out of the pen. And he's out of the pen in a tough spot in Venezuela's first ball game of this U-23 World Cup. Again, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run. It was earned, the solo shot from Jess Williams. The line as it stands now for Jose Rodriguez obviously is still responsible for the runners at first and second. Here's the 2-0 to Barry. Fastball missing high, 3 balls, no strikes. And Jordan McCardle, who has singled today, awaiting on deck for Australia. Glendening aboard at second base. He walked after the solo shot from Williams. Sam Kennelly aboard at first base after a hard-hit single up the middle. The 3-0 to Barry, taking all the way, and he takes a called strike on the black in the inner part of the plate. The 22-year-old Australian is singled. He's also grounded into a double play this morning. Glendening, who runs well at second base. Anything in the outfield would be a potential scoring opportunity and a chance to take the lead for Australia. The 2-1, or 3-1 rather, missing high, ball 4. Barry walks, and the bases are loaded with 1 out in the 6th for Australia. Jack Barry, the 4th man in the inning to reach base. And now young Jordan McCardle with perhaps one of the biggest at-bats of his youngest career upcoming. I mentioned there was the left-hander up and warming in the Venezuelan pen, and Carlos Moya may go get the left-hander to face Jordan McCardle. It may be one hitter in all she wrote for Cruz Noriega. And it is indeed, as Carlos Moya comes and takes the baseball. We're going to have another pitching change. Boy, a rare opportunity upcoming for Australia. A chance to take the lead for the first time. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th. Well, only one hitter faced for Cruz Noriega. He's out of the ball game. It's now the left-hander Miguel Burgos, set to face the left-hander in Jordan McCardle. Carlos Moya getting the left-handed versus left-handed matchup that he wants. First getting just away from the catcher. Joel Diaz almost tempting Robbie Glendenning to try to come home. Ball didn't skirt near enough far away for Glendenning to think about it. And that potential go-ahead run for Australia just 90 feet away. They have not led in this ball game. In fact, had trailed throughout before Jess Williams' solo shot tied the ball game to begin this sixth. McCardle takes a called strike on the 1-0, and the count even, a ball and a strike. This would be one of the bigger at-bats in the young career of Jordan McCardle, just recently signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks about 12 months ago. Finished his first assignment overseas, an off-speed pitch that fights off the hands and fouls it back near us, a ball and 2 strikes. He struck out. He is also singled. His second base hit of the morning would give the Australians their first lead of this U-23 World Cup. Miguel Borrios, the left-hander, has other ideas. Off speed, just off the outer part of the plate. That was a good pitch. The left-hander thought so too. He thought he had retired Jordan McCardle, but instead the count even 2-2. Well, they get something to hit on 2 balls and 2 strikes. Went back to that slider, it looked like, off the hand of the left-hander. Missed about 6 inches off the plate. It's the same pitch that he threw in the previous. And he's got to throw a strike here. McCardle would be thinking fastball on 3 balls and 2 strikes with the bases loaded. There's nowhere to put him. He gets the fastball, but he swings right through it. A big-time pitch from Miguel Borrios. Puts it up for McCardle, says here it is. McCardle was behind the pitch. Swings and misses. Big strikeout for Borrios. 2 away here in the 6th. So they'll leave Borrios in to face the switch-hitting Alex Hall, who will turn around to the right-hand side for the first time today. 1 for 2 as a lefty in this ball game. And he swings at the first, pops it up into right field, and this should do it. Luis Giordano camps underneath and makes the catch. Good work by Miguel Borrios. Gets a strikeout and a flyout, and the threat is gone. Australia leaves the bases loaded. They've stranded a total of 7, but they tie it up on the solo shot from Jess Williams. Good ball game as we go to the last of the 6, tied at 1. Well, that's a hell of a performance from Miguel Borrios. Comes in, throws 7 pitches, gets the strikeout of McCardle. And then gets Alex Hall to fly out to right field to strand the bases loaded. We're tied at 1 as we go to the last of the 6th inning. Thanks for hanging out with me on a beautiful Friday morning here in Monteria, the western side of the beautiful country of Colombia. Another inning of work for Michael Gahn. Sort of posited last half inning that I thought he may have been done after some stirring was occurring in the Australian bullpen. But Gahn, who's thrown 78 pitches through 5, comes out for this 6th inning. The 0-1 missing off the plate to Leandro Cedeno. He'll face the middle of the order, 3, 4, and 5. Cedeno, Concepcion, and Carlos Machado. The 1-1 fastball that misses off the plate outside, 2-1. So Venezuela got their lone tally in the top of the first inning, last of the first, I should say. This ball is hit hard in the gap in left center field, and that'll get down. It's off the wall. Whitefield fields it on a hop, gets it in, but it's a leadoff double for Anthony Concepcion, and here come Venezuela. How's that for a way to bite back after you surrender the lead in the top of the sixth inning? Anthony Concepcion, a hard hit double off the wall in left center. His second base hit of the morning. And now Carlos Machado with an RBI opportunity. Venezuela can reclaim the lead. Machado 0 for 2. He's popped out. He's also grounded into an inning-ending double play. Squares as if to bunt. Gone looks the runner back to second base. Interesting to see how Australia wants to play this defensively, with Machado squaring as if to bunt to try and get that runner to third with less than 2 outs. Kennelly is playing on the grass at first base. Shepard is on the edge of the infield grass at third. He's squaring to bunt this time. Takes the ball low. It's an interesting situation for Carlos Moya, as if to bunt in this spot or not. Late in the game, tournament baseball. The bottom part of your order coming up. If you get that runner to third, all it's going to take is a miscue from the defense, a fly ball potentially, and you've reclaimed the lead in the sixth. See if Machado's squaring again on 1-0. Not squaring this time. He takes a big hack at the 1-0 pitch, and the count even a ball to strike. Perhaps just deking the Australian defense to get them to play in on the right-hander. The 1-1 not squaring again, and another big cut on a fastball at the eyes. And with that, Machado takes a few steps into the grass behind the batter's box to compose himself as he finds himself in the hole, the ball and 2 strikes. You can forget about the bunt now for the right-hander. He'll be swinging away. And Michael Gahn, who has struck out only 1 through his 5+ innings of work, boy, would he love a second. Time called behind home plate from Ben Shun Chin. A ball and 2 strikes, nobody out, a man at second base. The next from Gahn, the 1-2, just getting a piece. He was well out in front of that. Nice work by Machado to fight it off the end of the bat. We'll do it again at a ball and 2 strikes. Machado, the 20-year-old Houston Astros prospect, saw his parent club knocked out of the playoffs. Less than 24 hours ago, he can put his team on top in the first game of this U-23 World Cup. The 1-2 off the end of the bat into right field, a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third. A strong throw in from Boyarski in right. But it is runners at the corners and nobody out for Venezuela to begin the sixth. What a great piece of 2-strike hitting, rather, that was from Carlos Machado. Goes for an outside pitch, hits it the opposite way, and it's met at the corners. Venezuela, after surrendering the lead a half inning ago, threatening to take it back. And that'll be the end of the morning for Michael Gahn. Tony Harris comes and takes the baseball from his starting pitcher. And that young man can tip his cap. He pitched awfully well today, but the bullpen will have to pitch out of a jam. We'll step aside. Venezuela threatening to reclaim the lead with 2 on, nobody out. Well, it'll be Jeremy Young that Tony Harris goes to, the first out of the pen for Australia. After Michael Gahn goes 5 innings, allows 1 run, 7 hits. The 3 walks and the 1 strikeout, but he's still responsible for the runners at first and third. Concepcion at third and Carlos Machado at first base. Jeremy Young will face Juan Yepez, the right-hander. In a tough spot for the Victorian right-hander atop the mound for Australia. First to Yepez is off the plate, high and away for a ball. Jeremy Young, 23 years of age, has not played any affiliated baseball, but has played in the Australian Baseball League since the age of 19. Getting his first taste of action in pro ball in the 2014 season for the Melbourne Aces. Boy, would this be a Houdini act if Australia were able to get out of it. Yepez hits it toward the left side, and Venezuela have reclaimed the lead. They lead it 2-1 on an RBI base hit from Juan Yepez. Three consecutive base hits for Venezuela to begin the 6th inning. And Anthony Concepcion, who started it all off with a double off the left center field wall, comes home to score. And Venezuela, who had to avert their own crisis in the top half of this frame, bases loaded for Australia with 1 out, have come back storming for a run. Still nobody out, runners at first and second. And Joel Diaz will stand in. He's 1 for 2 this afternoon. It's a double from Concepcion to begin the inning. Carlos Machado singled. Now the RBI base hit from Juan Yepez has put the Venezuelan side back on top. It's 2-1 here in the last of the 6th. And Young still in a bit of trouble, the Australian right-hander. Diaz squares as if to bunt, pulls back and takes a strike. See if Diaz is squaring again on the 0-1. He's not. Takes off the plate outside. Count even, a ball and a strike. Diaz is line out and singled so far today. He's 1 for 2. Venezuela looking to pile on, and this ball is hammered deep into center field. Whitefield going back, leaps, and he makes the catch. The runner will tag from second base. Machado diving into third, but what a play in straightaway center field by Aaron Whitefield. Saves at least momentarily a couple of runs for the first out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Boy, we saw a double from Leandro Cedeno earlier in the ballgame get over the head of Aaron Whitefield. The center fielder plays relatively shallow for the most part. He was on a dead set sprint into left center, made a fantastic catch, and has saved his right-hander, at least for now. It'll be runners at the corners with 1 out. That ball gets down, it likely scores a pair, and you're looking at a 4-1 Venezuela lead. Heck of a play by the Australian center fielder. So here's Jesus Lejano, who made that spectacular grab in right field last half inning. Runner is coming home. It's a suicide squeeze. The run will score. Lejano safe at first. Boy, is that good baseball from Venezuela or what? 3-1 on a suicide squeeze with 1 out here in the 6th inning. Boy, if it works, you're a genius, says Carlos Moya, and it did just that. It worked a treat. Lejano laid down a beauty down the first base line. He got himself a base hit. He gets an RBI, and Venezuela have added to their lead. It's now 3-1, still only 1 out here in the 6th. And now it's Joscar Alvarez hitting for the 3rd time today. And he's hit by the pitch. Oh, and he is writhing in pain. Joscar Alvarez looked like it hit him in the hand. It's the medical staff for Venezuela out quickly to have a look at him. Boy, that stings. Just so many small bones in the hand that anytime you see a hitter take one off the hands, you cringe. It looked like it just got him on the top of the outside hand, which would be his left hand to the right-handed swinger. And looks like he's going to stay in the ball game. He appears to be okay, but well, that was a scary, scary moment for Joscar Alvarez in Venezuela, but he looks to be okay. The bases will be loaded, still 1 out of the inning. And the dangerous Yanni Hernandez, who has burned Australia on a couple of occasions already today, will have a chance to blow this lead wide open. Singled, stole a base, and scored back in the 1st. He has also walked. He's been aboard twice, officially 1 for 2. The first to the lefty is high for a ball. The switch hitter hitting from the left side, Yanni Hernandez. Boy, would Young love a ground ball. Hernandez would be tough to double up. And he'd love to give his defense the chance. Hernandez takes a called strike to even the count. This could be your ball game right here. Yanni Hernandez at the plate. The base is loaded, 1 out. The 1-1 hit toward the other side. Shepard steps on the bag, throws across, and gets the double play. And the 6th inning, it comes to a close. That's just what the doctor ordered for this Australian side. Shepard stepping on the bag himself and throwing across to turn 2 and end the inning. But Venezuela, they pick up a pair. They strand 2 more. We go to the 7th inning. What a game this has been. Venezuela back on top 3-1. Miguel Berrios will stay into the ballgame, the left-hander. Came on to get the final 2 outs of that last inning. And here he's facing Ulrich Bojarski to lead things off. 9-1-2 due up for Australia here in the 7th inning. He tied the ball game, had an excellent chance to take the lead in the 6th and couldn't capitalize. And Venezuela in the bottom half of the 6th inning did the opposite. They scored a pair. Michael Gahn getting a massive ground ball double play to end the inning to at least leave a glimmer of hope for the Australians. They trail 3-1. 3 runs, 9 hits for Venezuela so far. 1 run on the 6 base hits and 7 left on base for Australia. The 1-2 to Borowski, and it's a base hit up the middle. Boy, the Australians have made a habit of putting the leadoff man aboard. That's now 5 consecutive innings in which the leadoff man has reached base for Australia. Now the tying run will come to the plate as Australia turn the lineup over to Aaron Whitefield. But not before it looks like we have another pitching change as Carlos Moya makes the slow walk from that third base dugout. And he is going to go to his 4th arm of the afternoon. So he elects to stay with Berrios, the left-hander, throws to one hitter. Now he'll be pulled. We get another pitching change. Australia threatening once again a runner aboard, nobody out here in the 7th. Well, the 4th arm of the morning for Venezuela will be Carlos Mejías. Tony Harris, the Australian manager, has also come out of the dugout on the first base side to have a conversation with Ben-Shun Chen. Not sure if he's made a change or if he's just positing a question to the home plate umpire, but Tony Harris and Ben-Shun Chen have had a lengthy conversation. Looks like that has now come to a close. So you can close the book on Berrios. He is still responsible for the runner at first base. And Carlos Mejías, the right-hander, will be the 4th arm of the morning for Venezuela. Ulrich Bojarski leading off the inning with a single. He's aboard at first. And now Aaron Whitefield, the right-handed swinging center fielder, will hit for the 4th time. It's 1 for 3. He's popped out, singled, and flied out deep to center field. And the first pitch from Mejias. Good fastball from the right-hander, but it misses low and away for a ball. Jose Rodriguez was the starting pitcher for Venezuela. Just joining us, he was dazzling. Threw 90 pitches, threw 5 1/3, struck out 5, allowed only the 1 run. That was the solo shot from Jess Williams. So fouled off toward the left side. That'll get out of play. Count even, a ball and a strike. It was in a patchwork of things. Last inning as Cruz Noriega came in to face Jack Barry, walked him, then was immediately pulled in favor of Miguel Borrios, who struck out Jordan McCardle and then got Alex Hall to fly out to right to strand the bases loaded. Borrios began the inning, allowed the leadoff single to Borowski, and that's now where we see Carlos Mejia.